What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. Welcome to my Volleyball Coach Reaction to HAIKYUU Season 3, Episode 5. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach, volleyball player, and personal trainer who provides volleyball tutorials, jump training workouts, and other cool volleyball videos that you can find linked in the description box. You can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more content. I cracked up when I saw this comment because that truly is Tsuki's true ability. Although I feel like he spends more time getting under the skin of his own teammates, and hopefully he can start channeling that irritating energy into his opponents and start to get under their skin. I appreciate everyone's patience for waiting so long for this reaction video to come out. There are only a few episodes that I've really got excited and visibly emotional. I think the scene where Karasuno lost to Seijo, that was a tough one. There was one other one too, maybe when Hinata finally learned how to hit a certain direction or maybe hit high off the block. And this was definitely one of the more emotional ones where I just got super pumped. And I can see how you guys were waiting so long for me to watch this one. And thank you guys for not spoiling this moment, because I was able to enjoy it as authentically and as free as possible. One of the fans asked if I've ever witnessed somebody else in real life have a Tsuki moment where they finally got hooked on volleyball. I've been coaching for over 15 years, so I've had the blessing of seeing many people have their Tsuki moments. And that's really one of the most enjoyable parts about coaching, is seeing that volleyball light bulb go off and then they're hooked on volleyball. When I first started coaching in 2005, I remember working with one of our middle blockers. Her name was Karen, and she was a senior, and in the beginning of the season it just looked like she was happy to be there. And I remember talking to one of the coaches and how her parents required her to start playing volleyball her sophomore year because she never played any sports growing up. She was really into reading but not a lot of physical activity, and so they wanted her to exercise, and also probably for the benefit of putting that on your college application to improve your chances of getting into a good college, which is very common at the school that I started coaching at, which is Mission San Jose High School. So she only played volleyball 3 months out of the year. She didn't play club, and she was just there probably mainly for social reasons and exercise. During her senior year, I remember her stuff blocking one of the opponents early in the season on the other side. And that was the most amped up I've ever seen her. Like, she was jumping up and down and just the most expressive I've ever seen her. And after that moment, she actually tried to stuff block everyone possible. And when she didn't, she would get really frustrated. And that was really cool to see, because before she was kind of happy-go-lucky on the court. Things didn't really get her too amped up or too down. But I think that was her Tsuki moment, where she got a taste of what it was like to really stuff block somebody. And the ironic thing is that she was a middle blocker and she had her volleyball moment during a stuff block. But that was really awesome to see, because her improvement went up like crazy simply because she wanted it more badly and she tasted that addiction of how great volleyball can be. And after her senior year, she continued to play volleyball for fun, went to a bunch of open gyms, peppered every chance she got. And compared to that in high school, where she only played during the high school season. So it definitely became a very strong addiction for her after that Tsuki moment. In all honesty, that's one of the best parts about coaching, is guiding somebody to a place in their volleyball career where they can have those aha moments. You can't force somebody to have it, but you can facilitate an environment and culture that is ripe and ready for anyone to have their hooked on volleyball moment. If you've been enjoying my videos, please consider supporting me on Patreon, where you receive exclusive access to my monthly live Q&A sessions, monthly podcasts, my private blog, behind the scenes footage, and more. Now let's get this HAIKYUU party started. Ooh, we get to start off right from the goosebump moment. I just realized that I didn't have the subtitles on. I was like, I'm enjoying this, but I don't know what's going on. Alright, let's start over from the beginning because it sounds like Tsuki's narrating. Okay, so it looks like he's just repeating what he said to Yamaguchi about doesn't think he could beat him, but oh yeah, the stuff block and the celebration from Tsuki. Individual versus number, so I'm assuming they're referring to the individual as Ushijima compared to the numbers of Karasuno. Tendo. Everyone's gonna be annoyed of Tsuki. Kenjiro. That's the setter with the bowl cut. Set him higher. Or run Ushijima more. Slap across the face. That's some old school coaching. He should date Sachi, I think that's her name, the one that slaps herself on the face. I wonder if those red streaks are gonna stay on his face the whole time, like Daichi's bruise. Daichi-nasa! Come on! And there we got Ushijima right back into it. Tendo involved. Ooh, now Shiotazawa is back into the game. Yeah, one set is one set, and that's why you play best of 5. Yeah, true competitors get upset and try harder after they lose. Is he gonna look up to Kenjiro? Ones that just make very consistent sets. Man, we got a backstory from Kenjiro, man. Everyone's got a backstory. I think it's great that middle school volleyball is this competitive in Japan. I got that old school Mikasa. Yeah, we have a young Ushijima. So at that moment, he's like, if I go to a school with a huge hitter, I don't have to do all the work and try to force things to be the best. Coolest form of volleyball is this. Maybe I wonder what he means by that. Like the system of Shiratorizawa, where they usually just make a high hittable set to their most powerful hitters. Ah, okay. Where you don't draw too much attention to yourself, you're not trying to make flashy plays or be too deceptive, just make good quality sets. He is thirsty. Man, did they already win the third set? Oh, just when you thought Nishinoya was gonna get discouraged. Oh, from the concrete. Block. Oh, right in his face. I love it. Oh man, that is funny. Man, Ushijima called him out. Even though that was kind of a dick move, I still like Ushijima. He really is just telling how it is. It is true. Hinata's kind of all over the place. He's incredibly athletic, jumps well, moves fast, and he's still kind of clumsy. But Hinata is also a very young player. But I wonder if there's any ulterior motive behind the things that Ushijima is saying. Is he really just black and white and says what's on his mind? Or is he testing people to see if they can do better than that? Or challenging them? Kind of like Kageyama, where he's so frustrated with Hinata because he knows how athletic he is, but sometimes he's not all up there in his head, and he knows that Hinata can be way better. Maybe Ushijima sees the same thing in Hinata. It's like, dude, you can be even better with your athletic ability, so be better. Aha, that's right. Not in physical perspective, but in their mindset. That's why they're both true competitors. The third set, that was fast. We didn't even get to see anything. Keep your blocks tight together. Don't provide any holes. Good advice. Let's see if they can actually apply that. And the music is starting to get more upbeat, so that means Karasuno is probably going to make a little comeback here. There's the bowl cut guy. Not a fan of this hair here. Is he the serving specialist? Have that happen many times. That's some great perspective. Let's enjoy the artwork. In addition to human figure drawing, anatomy and physiology, one of the other most important classes to take as an illustrator or animator is perspective. Not just drawing three-dimensional cubes, but really challenging yourself to understand the depth of movement, but also what the human body looks like from different angles. It's easy to draw a human figure when you're always straight on or from the side view, but how about at a 30-degree angle, or maybe from a 30-degree angle and slightly elevated? This perspective is spot on. You really feel like you're right in front of Daichi as the perspective of his body gets smaller as it recedes further in the back. I'm surprised the animators didn't try to make it even harder by rotating the perspective, which they've been doing so well so far. Another great perspective from the back view. Nice receive! Ooh, is Tsuki tracking his patterns? The cross side, so block the angle, drop his right hand into the angle because he's coming in fast. And Nishinoya is thinking, is he gonna let it go across his shoulder? Oh, it's down the line. Only one equal is Nishinoya. Oh, so poetic. Dang. That was crazy. That's so poetic. Ooh, Asahi with an authoritative. I love that high five. I think it's funny how HAIKYUU is showing a really interesting contrast between the older coaches, or actually specifically this coach, and the younger coaching style. Old school coaching is a lot of yelling, a lot of negative reinforcement, a lot of punishment. New school coaching is more self-reflective, a little bit more sensitive, but also more energetic, like you are with the players, not above the players. So that's a really cool contrast to see here. He's got some thick eyebrows though. Sometimes coaches are harder on certain players because they know they can be better. Great words from Leon. I use that phrase on the players too. It's true. You push people hard because you know they could be so much better. Ooh, he's talking back to Tendo. Let's see how the conversation goes out. It's over. Goshiki, who is this one? Is he gonna close? Or is he gonna tool the block here? Oh yeah, he saw that opening on the hand. Leon charged him up. I love these sequences where he's just charging up and getting pumped up. This is one of the hardest tools to execute because in order to actually hit the angle off the block and ricochet off the edge of the block, you have to let the ball cross you a little bit, rotate, and then hit into the block but on the edge of the block. So it is risky because if you're off by even a few millimeters, you will hit directly into the block and then tool. But the benefit is it's a very hard tool, so very difficult, nearly impossible to dig and to cover from the opponent's side. So if you want to work on this, you do your normal approach, you wait for the ball to drift, because most of the time blockers are going to line up on your hitting shoulder. So the reason why you want to let the ball drift is because you're creating a little bit of an opening beyond the blocker, and then once you let it drift a little bit, as you rotate, that gives you power, and then you kind of point slightly back into the court but towards the edge, and you let that ricochet off the block there. So it's a high risk, high reward move, and the fact that he can execute it on command is very impressive. But if you're going to be a great outside hitter, you must have this in your toolbox. I love it. Tendo, he's the instigator. He's like a different version of Tsuki, just more expressive. Man, Daichi still has a bruise on his face. Yep. He's like an army general charging his players to not back down. Alright, soft block. Good dive from Daichi there. Wear him down. Synchronize attack. That middle blocker just looks like he's chilling. Yeah, he was just waiting. Man, a lot of great players on Shiro Tozawa. That was one time where the synchronized attack did not work. That was some good read blocking from the middle there. I love it. Kageyama blaming his hands and Hinata just frustrated at his inability to hit with accuracy sometimes. 7-7, pretty close game. Is that Grandpa Ukai? Oh, it is. Man, he's back in the picture. He came off his mountain. Oh, these were the alumni. He's probably going to get into a fight with the Shirtozawa coach because they're two grumpy old men. That's interesting. So the Shirtozawa coach is saying that if all of them weren't fully committed to the attack, and this is the upside of the synchronized attack is that everyone's running at full speed really early, and in order to execute it properly, every hitter needs to be approaching pretty early and fully committed in order for Kageyama to just set quickly to any of the hitters. Now the advantage is that it's a faster offense, which means difficult to read, and also even if you do read it, usually you're going to be late to the block. The disadvantage is because everyone's going early, no one's staying back to possibly be ready for a hitter coverage. So if they get blocked, I can't cover it because I'm already committed to my approach. So interesting thought from the Shirtozawa coach, and that's a complete opposite strategy from Shirtozawa because they run a higher offense and more predictable offense, I guess. They're worrying about making the ball more hittable and setting it to the right person than being deceptive and fast. So the disadvantage is the blockers have more time to get set up. So you see how Karasuno can often get 2 and 3 blockers up. The advantage is that you usually have one person available to cover because they're waiting to get set, and if they don't get set, then they can do something else. I love it. I love that these two teams are so different. And that's pretty normal for a smaller team to try to have more speed and a bigger team to set it higher and overpower opponents. Yeah, I love it when coaches feel like it's more of a battle of the coaches. That's some mutual respect. Ooh, what was the nod for? So take out the left side hitter and then make it more predictable to Ushiwaka. Frustrated means he cares. He wants to block him. That's new. And they're gonna set high to Shirtozawa. We got a triple block. Nishinori licking his lips. Is he gonna tip? No, he's just going hard, one speed. Oh, that's an advanced strategy. If the middle back, if the block is well formed, middle back should be playing defense behind the baseline for that high off the block. Oh, Asahi's right there. Let's see who they set. Let's see what Kageyama sets. Oh, Tanaka. He's gonna go for it. He sees Tendo. Oh no! I thought Tanaka saw him. Mirakuru boy. I'm assuming his name is Satori also. That's tough. I mean, Tanaka couldn't do anything about that. When you're receiving a ball high behind you, you can't really look at the block.
それで打ってくるコースの見当をつけたのか。ということはつまりあの5番はあんな位置にもかかわらず意図したコースに打ったという。
Someone's got to keep Tanaka calm. Wow, Suki was impressed. That's usually rarely gives compliments.
ああいうレベルの高い当然ができるっつうのは。でもそれだけでは勝てないから相手は王者と呼ばれるわけだ。
Now we got Ushiwaka. Haven't seen him jump serve in a while. Clean ace. Too much power. Mr. Freaking Perfect. Overpass. Oh, and Suki was ready. Wow, ballsy move. That's a Bruno level set, and let's see if Suki has a reaction. More pressure for Hinata.
そういや、Hinata、セット間、牛若に何か言われてなかったか。ああ、はい。下手くそなチビに生きる資格はない。そうです。
Oh man, that's one thing I've learned with working with young people is they will never get the story right. You can tell a player, I subbed you out because you hit 3 balls out in a row, and then the player will go home and say, Coach Donny subbed me out because he says I'm terrible at hitting. It's like the telephone game, so it's funny to see that happen in real life, and culturally it's really interesting to know that even in Japan this happens, because otherwise it wouldn't be in the anime, right? But that's probably how Hinata interpreted the emotion of it, not the information. Yeah, let's see if Hinata is gonna... Oh, he's licking his lips. He's ready. He works harder when someone tells him he can't do something. Right in between 2 players. No confusion though. See what he does again. Oh, he's gonna block against Leon. This is a little unrealistic here. You actually don't necessarily get that much higher when you do a pro. Oh, he's huge. Alright, this is one of the few moments where it is a little unrealistic. Middle blockers don't have time to come off the net and then take a full approach and then try to block that way, especially after the setter sets the ball. But more importantly, this is actually not a good blocking technique. When you're jumping and you're moving forward, you will carry a little bit of forward momentum. Ideally, you don't want to broad jump when you're doing your spiking approach, but it happens, right? It's part of it. You might broad jump a few inches. So I don't know if you're going to get like 6 to 10 inches higher like Hinata. I mean, some people do this approach in emergency situations, but you're not going to see it as an actual strategy. So he can actually get almost just as high just doing a regular swing block without broad jumping forward and netting. Let's see if Ushijima sees him. Oh, 11-11. Yeah, he does play erratic. That was a random move. Probably was luck. You don't want to repeat that. Ah.
あれだけのがっつりの助走は速い攻撃には対応できない。
それにスタミナ的にも厳しい。ミドルブロッカーはただでさえ
Yeah, middle blockers work super hard. They're blocking 4 or 5 times in a single rally.
お前なんかはいつもどうサボるか考えてたもん。
So true.
うまくサボるなら何の文句もねえよ。
大平さん、もう一回。
Morikai. Where do you get hit?
勢い考えろ、このボケが。
そうよ、鵜飼さんからだ。ジャンプの理想は上に飛ぶことだけど、とりあえず今は横に流れてもいい。その代わり
サイドが支えるだな。
Yeah, good advice. Stop doing the approach forward block.
それじゃ意味ない。
But they got the dig. Wow, that's a fast
うま
transition.
くサボるなら何の文句もない。でもチビ太郎はな、
Damn, that guy's working hard into that quick set slide.
ねえんだ。
Man, that's a hard working middle. You block right, you block left, and you transition. Yeah, that's probably part of Hinata's advantage is he doesn't know any better that you really can't do that. He just does it.
どっちが勝ってもムカつくからいかねえって言ってたろ。
どっちが勝ってもどっちかの負けっ面は拝めるからね。
うんこ野郎だ。
友情にいじけてらんないんだよ。それにして
Man,
も
he is dressed like K-pop. He is all dressed in snazzy.
確かに化け物だ。でもその化け物に付き合わされる方はたまったもんじゃないけどね。
Ushijima with another crush. Oh, Tanaka with that 2 off the block. Did not get slowed down. 18-18.
ジャンプのてっぺん、ジャンプのてっぺん、ジャンプのてっぺん。
Early hands, but Leon's gonna stay calm. Oh, he read the tip. Fake by Hinata, 1-on-1, but great soft block by Tendo. Ushijima. Oh, they're closing the block. Oh, another soft block from Hinata. One touch. Who's gonna hit in transition? Man, this guy is just gonna tire out the other middles. Oh, there we go. Hinata doing his other job to run the fake to open up Tanaka. I think I missed a funny scene there. Something about haiku. I like how oh man, he says this something very poetic with the poetry, and then Suga comes in from the corner and says, "That's a haiku. That's a haiku." Now I got my words confused between haiku and haiku. But they're tired. Hey, but if that's what it takes to keep up with a team like this, better be tired and giving your best effort than to be fresh and let the team have their way. Of course they gotta end it. Here are my immediate thoughts to episode 5. Very exciting episode, not as riveting and breakthrough as the last one, but still it had me on the edge of my chair. And when I stop talking, that means I'm really zoned in the episode and trying to read everything possible and not miss a moment. So I definitely had a few moments of silence in this one. What was fascinating about this episode is seeing the contrast in coaching styles and getting to hear some of the feedback and the strategies between the Shiratorizawa coach and Coach Ukai, and more instruction for high-level volleyball. Like that one sequence where if you have a well-formed 2 or 3-man block, the middle black player should be playing off behind the court. That's something that mainly people do in college or professional level, definitely not in high school. So the fact that they're throwing in really advanced information that is above high school level volleyball That's a great way to continue to expand people's understanding of the game of volleyball and to keep the actual volleyball players and coaches happy. The fourth set is super close, and I'm really curious when Ushijima is going to change his play style. Is he going to tip in here and there? Is he going to try to tool? Or is he just going to continue to just hammer away and try to hit over the top and ricochet off the block until his physicality overcomes the other team? In my opinion, that's not a sustainable strategy, because the longer you do the same thing, the more tired you get and the more time you give the opponent to figure out how to stop that one move. And I love those sequences where Hinata is blocking one way, getting off the net, getting into another hitting route and not getting set but not getting upset, and then blocking again and then running another route and then finally getting set. And that's just the life of a middle. You just block, get ready to hit, run the fake, block, get ready to hit. Maybe you get set, maybe you don't, but that's what we call triangle footwork. You block, come to the middle of the court to load, you hit, or you fake the hit. You block left, go back to the center, and so you see how it forms a triangle shape. So that's the best way to summarize what a middle does, is they do a lot of triangles. Really curious what's going to happen in the last couple points of the fourth set, because if Shiratorizawa wins, it's over. Something tells me it might go to a fifth set just to make a little more money with some more episodes, but I would love to see it go to a fifth set, because this match has been super exciting and is a much closer and better game than you would ever imagine, considering how inexperienced and not so physical Karasuno is and how experienced and physical Shiratorizawa is. But because they have different styles that actually complement each other well, that's why it's a good battle. I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction video. We'll see you guys in the next one.